everyone, and welcome to episode 151 of the Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia, and the guy on your other screen or in your other ear if you're listening to the show, it is Cam Blake in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. Hello, Cameron.
Hello, Mister. My eyes look like piss holes in the snow. How you going?
Yes, I'm tired. I'm off the top. I'm tired, and I told you off air it was self-inflicted. So
yeah. I'm going well. I've been just chilling out today, having a good couple of days, which is nice.
You look different.
I've had a haircut.
I think you've also got a different webcam as well.
I do have a different webcam. I have I purchased, because everyone's complaining about the shit we do on this show. It's not good enough.
This is not sponsored content either, by the way.
But I got a nice little
nice
brio.
Yeah, no, because that's a brand household name, really.
Yeah. I think it is Logitech, isn't it? It is Logitech, so they do some good stuff. But yes, now I'm looking at it. I still don't know. I got to look at the camera. I sort of look at you on my screen, but
yeah. It is a bit of an odd one because I'm sort of talking to the people rather than talking to you. But if I look there, I'm talking to you. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I've got a new webcam. I've tried to fix my lighting again. So
we should play a game with our viewers every week.
Who can complain the most about the lighting and the temperature?
No, what have we added to our backgrounds? Don't say it.
Or what have we?
It's like a spot the difference kind of thing, and every week something will appear and then maybe disappear the next week. So that could be a fun game.
I was going to say something. Something really inappropriate. We could put something in the background, like something, just something completely inappropriate.
Like what, Cameron?
I don't know. Like
something inappropriate. Doesn't matter. It's fun.
Yeah,
like a really big lens.
Yeah, like a really big black Canon
lens.
Yeah.
Canon. That'd be a white one. Thank you to all 1,170 of you, which is more than that now because it's going out a few days later, for subscribing to the YouTube channel and for listening to us on the podcast while you're driving your car, while you're off at the gym, while you're walking the dog. So we do really appreciate it. A little bit of homework before we get any further. The new comp for January on the Facebook page. Cameron, how's that going?
It's going great, guns. So we've had close to 30 entries already, which is good.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we usually get about 60 entries a month. So
we do.
I reckon we won't be far off that. So that'll be good. But it's going good. There's some great shots in there. Great topic being mountains and all. So it's going well. I better put my phone on Do Not Disturb so we don't get disturbed.
Not get disturbed. So how do they enter the competition again, Cam?
So they go to the Down South Photo Show Facebook page, and there is a pinned post where you can put your comment in, which is your entry. And it has to be of mountains. So that can be, it's a pretty loose term. It can be big mountains, little mountains, whatever it might be. But yeah, mountains. So far, we've got some great ones. Some Tassie, New Zealand, some Europe ones. We've got a bit
when you say we've got 27 entries, we've actually got 26.
Do we?
One of them's mine.
Yeah, I saw that guy enter.
I won't. Can I win? Would that be weird? It's your week to give. It's your month to give the prize. Maybe.
I think that might cause some upset people if we did that.
I want a book. I've got a book.
Now, you're retired.
Yes.
Self-inflicted. What have you been up to? What?
Right. So I'm glad you asked. Completely unprompted that you asked me that.
I just took it off the running sheet.
I've had quite a week. So my amazing daughter is 18 and she is heading off into the wild blue yonder on the 2nd of February. She is boarding the Spirit of Tasmania.
Not the way to start, mate.
And we heard February is a pretty good month to do Tassie, so she's heading your way in a van that she started converting during high school. So during her year 12 year, my daughter did woodwork in year 12, and she made an awesome, like a bed with pull-out drawers and stuff like van lifers do.
Yeah.
And then with the deadline looming for her to leave in a few weeks' time, the old man has taken it upon himself to finish the project. So
that's finished.
I want to say it's 65, 70% done. Okay. So, which is all the hard furnishings. So I built a kitchen in a van. It was nuts. One of those things I didn't even draw up a plan. I just went in, had materials and just built it.
You built a kitchen in a van, but you couldn't change your aspect ratio at the start of this show years ago.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, you technically.
It's funny the things that
you can't do anything technically, but you can build.
I think you've just summed up Brendan Waits.
Yeah,
in a nutshell.
Give him something to do with his hands. He's a marvel.
There's a word that comes to mind when I was doing this van lifing thing, and that is therapeutic.
Therapeutic, right?
Yeah, I got on a roll. It was like, I could see it. You can see the vision coming together, and we had a loose diagram of how she wanted it to look, but we didn't really know how we're going to make it all come together. YouTube's a wonderful thing. We, YouTubed a lot of things. Our friend of the show, Jack, has done a van conversion himself last year. So I went and had a look at his van, and had a look at two completely different vans, but we got it well underway. So put a fridge in. We've got a dual battery system. We've got a shelving system at the back. Yeah, lots of cool stuff. But the cool thing's the slide out kitchen. There was a lot of fun building.
Have you taken notes of everything you've done on this build? So when Abby gets down here and she pulls up my driveway and says, all that shit Dad built fell apart. Yeah. Can you help? I've lost my fridge out the back. It fell out.
Don't worry. It's been over-engineered.
It's not going apart then.
I don't know. It might. I mean, it's only a 2-wheel drive van, and she's not going to be doing much sort of dirt road driving or anything like that. So we'll see. And the cool thing is she's got a month in Tassie, and then she's coming back through Ocean Grove for a few days before heading to Adelaide. So she'll, no doubt stop off and go, Dad,
that fridge broke. And so she's going from 1788 down here to 1856 in Adelaide. Yeah, so she's sort of making her way through the time
zones. Exactly. So
that's cool. I'll look forward to seeing her down here if I'm around.
Yeah, I have no doubt she will call in when she's down there. Well, I've basically forced her and told her that she has to.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
So she's her own person. She's an adult now, so she can do that if she likes. Now, one other thing, Cam, I did delay the start. I asked you to just wait a little bit longer. I've got a confession to make as to why there was a delay.
You fell asleep on the couch.
No. Nick Carver put out a video that I just had to watch.
Really? That's the reason you delayed me?
That's the reason. I'm sorry. I was sort of just tidying up dinner and all that sort of stuff, and then you know what? I just need to get inspired. So I sat down on the couch.
How good was it? It was great. Look,
friend of the show, Nick Carver, he's outdone himself. If you haven't seen his latest video on the Chapman Street project, do yourselves a favor. He has gone to the next level with his video production and his storytelling. And
did you, one question without notice quickly, because I watched it last night. I was actually watching it while I was waiting for you. I thought I'd rewatch it. Funnily enough.
There you go.
Did you get back to the future vibes?
A little.
A little bit like with the driveway scene and them going on the scooter, and
there was a little bit of that. There's probably a little bit of that influence there.
It was very cool.
I liked it. I mean, there's different influences by different movie makers there, I would imagine. But he's really grabbed hold of the YouTube genre and made it his own. And I think the thing that gets me is his irreverence. Like, he's just so, he's witty, he's dry, which I love. And it's cool stuff. So Nick Carver, thanks for putting together an awesome video that will not be linked below, but just go and find Nick's channel.
Yeah, it was very cool. I watched it the other day when it came out, and then like I said, I was waiting for you to jump online, and I went back upstairs. I said, bloody hell. I said, I was ready to go. Now he's 20 minutes late. I said, hey, let's watch this thing. This is really funny.
So we were watching it at the same time. There you go. So we're going to do photo of the week.
Are we? Okay.
That's mine. It's up on the screen there.
Oh, I thought you were pointing to the one in the background. That was there.
That's my image. Now I call it photo of the week. And look, because I'm on the confession couch at the moment. I haven't had my camera out this year. Not once. Nope. I have not taken one frame this year. Now, I'm not proud of that.
No, it shouldn't be.
But I think, one, because it's my busiest time of the year. I'm always ridiculously busy from December 1 to...
I'm just going to count the excuses for everyone.
From December 1 until, where are we now? The middle of January or whatever it is. My shop goes absolutely crazy busy, and I get a lot very, very run down. So I think part of it is that. But the second one, this is not an excuse. This is a reason for this. It actually is a good thing for me, I think, considering how productive I was in 2024 with the camera.
Yeah,
a little rest probably doesn't hurt me. The fact that I'm so busy sort of slots in nicely with that. But I think it was this time last year that I grabbed my camera and went for a little walk around Barwon Heads and got the juices flowing again. So luckily for me, on Friday, I'm joining you.
Yes.
On a photography workshop here in the Bellarine. So
maybe you need to buy a scooter.
Yeah, I saw that. Maybe I do. No, I won't be. I won't be buying a scooter anytime soon. But I wouldn't mind getting a little. Sorry, I'm rabbiting on here. I wouldn't mind getting a little setup that I can take out on my bike.
Oh yes,
I've done that before, and I think I've mentioned that before. That I'd like to do a bit more of that stuff. For one very good reason that was pointed out in that Nick Carver video, and that is when you're on a bike, you see so much more.
Yeah, you do. Absolutely.
Than when you're in a car. So
yeah. All right. Well, that's a couple of good excuses. I take my camera everywhere. I have a camera on me almost concreted to my hand. So we're a little bit different like that. So on the Friday, I'm not going to bring a camera. I'm going to let you do it all because you're a bit rusty.
Yeah. Okay. You can just sit in the car.
I was just going to go to the pub, sit in the pub.
It's a good idea. Do that. I'm sure the people won't mind.
So the reason why the Monument Valley photos.
Yes. The Monument Valley photo is on the screen because I was looking for one of my most recent photos, and that's sort of it. That's it. Which is back in October. So the other cool thing about that shot is I was shoulder to shoulder with you when I shot it, and that was pretty cool. Yeah. And I think the thing I like about this as well was it was one of those sunsets where we didn't know if it was going to deliver or not. I mean, we sort of had a fair idea that it'd be nice.
Confident, but not to the point of how good it was going to be.
Yeah, and then as that line of the horizon just climbed the face of those monuments, I just sort of had to wait and time it so I got just the top part of that one showing like it is. And, I was very, very happy with that. So that's Monument Valley. Where are we? Utah shooting into Arizona or the other way around?
Yeah, well, something on the second trip that we noticed is that the road into Monument Valley that we went, almost crosses back over the two.
It does, yeah.
It does something weird. Like you're in Arizona 1 minute, then you're back in Utah.
Yeah, and the reason I picked that up was because the clock on the car kept changing an hour.
Yes, yeah.
It was going backwards and forward, and I did it a couple of times. I went, are we crossing the state line multiple times here? It was weird.
Hey, while we're on the topic of America, bit of a shout out to anyone that's in LA.
Yes, yes, indeed.
They are copping it big time. That is just
unbelievable.
We get fires here in Australia, we know that, and we deal with them pretty well, and we've had some pretty bad ones over the last 20 years, but like that's like having, you've been through LA, I've been through a few times, like just knowing that city, like my God, that's like 10 or 20,000 houses gone.
Absolutely crazy.
And people dying and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty bad. So if you're out in that area, for Christ's sake, look after yourself, and hopefully everyone's okay.
And then you mentioned that we have very bad bushfires here in Australia. We have done my whole life. We get a lot of help from California with their air crane. Elvis, comes out and helps us out. So
have you seen the pilots that flying those planes?
It's just crazy.
They're tucking in between valleys. It's incredible.
And a little tangent to that as well. I know no one listening to this show would dare do anything like this, but please, if you find yourself near a fire and there are firefighting aircraft, don't launch your drone. Wrong.
Dickhead.
So we had a so-called photographer ground a Canadian Air Force firefighting jet with their drone. Well done. Congratulations, moron.
Yeah.
So their drone hit the plane, and the plane is now out of commission until they can fix it in the most crucial of times. So
selfish.
Anyway. Idiot. Anyway, sorry. Your photo of the week, which is now there.
My photo of the week, I don't know what side I'm on. I'm underneath you at the moment. So I went out the other night. There was predicted storms through Tassie, which we don't get heaps of. We've had a few already this year, which has been pretty cool. But good mate Jamie, who has actually just messaged me while recording that. Thanks, Jamie. He and I went out and sort of chased around these storms for a few hours, and we lined it up nicely to be in the Midlands of Tassie when this storm came through. And I've never seen a storm come through where the clouds are almost touching the ground. Like it was really very gnarly.
Well, you can see in your photo there that cloud looks like 100 feet.
Yeah, it was really low, which was really cool, but lots of drama, and it was black. And anyway, I was using my Olympus camera, which has the live composite mode. Yes. So for those that don't know, on the Olympus cameras, you can set it it does like a base exposure, and then you just keep pressing the button. You press the button once and it just keeps taking shots at that base exposure. But what it does, it adds anything that's brighter in the frame each time it does a frame. So if there's a bolt of lightning, the bolt of lightning will show up, but nothing else will really change. It's a phenomenal little feature. So I was using that, and I got that that big bolt. So I quickly stopped the process and had a look at it. I went, Jamie got the same thing on his camera with just a long exposure. So we're pretty happy to get that. But that bolt was pretty close and made a bit of a crack, and it was pretty epic. But yeah, really amazing sort of day of storm chasing and crazy weather and crazy clouds and stuff like that. So that photo came out pretty good. The sky's angry. I had someone question me if I'd photoshopped the bolt to be purple. I'm like, well, that's the color it came out of the camera. I actually dulled down the purple. It was really, really bright. So
I've seen that before. There's a local photographer, James Collier, about 15 years ago, 10 years ago, got the cover of Australian Geographic with an amazing bolt of lightning over Cryo Bay here in Dong, and it was purple as they come. Like real, it was purple like your backlight there.
Yeah, that one there. Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty good. And we're getting maybe some more tomorrow as well. But I think I've had enough sort of photo chasing storms at the moment. I'm going through a lot of petrol driving around Tassie.
And that stuff ain't cheap.
No, it's not. It's so that's one of the costs of being a photographer, is driving around and trying to get to places. So I'll probably give that a bit of a miss tomorrow, and going to start packing to get up your way.
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to it. So for those of you who are interested, we're running 2 one-day workshops here on the Bellarine. They're both sold out, but we will do them again next year. So it's more than likely. We do them sort of mid-January each year. They're here on the Bellarine. We have 10 people one day, 10 people the next day. Point Lonsdale, Ocean Grove, and Barwon Heads are the 3 main locations we go to. And they're a lot of fun. We go to my backyard, which is awesome because I know the area really well. We get to take people out and about. The lighting once again will be challenging. The conditions are going to be too good again, Cam.
That's okay. Black and white start off with into colour for the rest of the day.
Yeah, a little bit of black and white stuff, a little bit of polarizer action, a little bit of mucking around. But Point Lonsdale, we could pretty much have the whole thing there if we wanted to.
Yeah, that's a great location.
It's ridiculous. There's probably 10 compositions that just jump out at you as soon as you get there. And then when you start getting into the area, it gets even better. So really looking forward to that. On the Friday, I believe all 10 of the participants are female. Is that correct, Ken?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Hey, that's something we want to talk about.
And I actually threw that in because I knew that you'd want to talk about it, and even though it's not on the run sheet.
It's not on the run sheet. So we've noticed that we don't have hardly any women watching this show. The majority of people watching this show are 50 to 60 plus males watching this show, which we thought was really quite interesting, considering like with my workshops, I reckon I'm 90% women all the time. Like I don't get too many men.
And like I just said, all 10 of our participants on Friday are female. So it's quite interesting. Has it got to do more with the YouTube algorithm, like the way it throws us out to the world? Or
I know. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna create some controversy here. Yes. But I reckon it's got to do with the fact, and I don't know, how cheeky do I want to go? How many people do you want to lose on this episode? Don't. So, for example, right, we've been running this since we did the Tom Heaton chat, which is amazing. Yep. We've had a lot of comments, and majority of the comments, if not all of them, have been from our viewers who are male, majority. Yep. And it's all about, hey, you need to fix this, you need to fix that. You could be doing better at that. That's really not working. Change this, change that, change this. There's a theory I have. There's men don't like to be taught things as much. I think men like to just go, well, here's a camera, I'll go give it a crack and do it as long as I can. Where I think women get something and they go, I don't know how to use this. I want someone to teach me how to use it so I can get the best out of it quicker. Yeah. And I think that's similar to this. Like, we're really not sort of instructing too much on this video. This is all a bit of a tongue-in-cheek photography show where we talk about what we do and have a bit of a laugh and stuff like that. It's a casual show that we sit down and watch. I reckon if this show was all about giving tips and doing instructional videos, we'd have a flip in what the audience would be. Possibly. But then on the opposite side there, like I said, we do have all women on the Friday.
Yeah.
They want that hands-on, show me how to do things. I want to go out with like-minded people. It's in a safe environment and things like that. So my theory is men don't want to necessarily learn stuff. The only time men come on workshops is either you go into an amazing location or they're so frustrated with their camera they can't figure it out, or their wife in the situation has said, piss off, go out somewhere, you're annoying me with your camera, go hang out with some other people. So that's my theory.
And well, you've got a lot more hands-on experience with running workshops than I have. So I can only appreciate that theory is right.
Yeah.
But, case in point, like, the van building thing that I was told you about, like,
Yes.
I just got in there. I didn't want to be told how to do it. I just wanted to do it. So that's probably case in point right there.
Like this webcam, I opened up the box. I didn't even look at the instruction. I plugged it.
Didn't.
And I went, okay, why is it not working?
Yeah, that's right.
If Lisa had got this, she would have pulled it out and gone, well, it says here, Cam, you got to do this. And I would have shut up, I know what I'm doing. And then I would have carried on. So
and got it all wrong. Yeah.
Got it all wrong. So I think our audience, like I said, it's 95% male watching this who are in their 50 plus years.
Which
is great.
It's
and
not 95. It's not quite that high.
It's
not 95, but maybe in that age bracket it might be, but it's certainly not. But it is. There's a lot more men that watch it now. That brings us around to the point that we've made before on this show, and that is that we have put the feelers out to several women to come on the show, female landscape photographers in particular.
Yeah, and I just have a new age.
And we haven't had any people who want to come on. So it's interesting, isn't it?
Well, that maybe says something about maybe they read the stats as well. I mean, maybe
I don't know. I don't know. But hopefully we can change that because it's.
Do you want to know the stats?
Yes,
stats here.
So put it up. Yes.
Yeah, let's say in the last month or so, it's 93.8% male.
Yep.
6.2% female.
So that means the algorithm is sending out. You know what I mean? That is it has to be because that's in the last month. Can we go overall?
Let's do lifetime.
Yeah.
Lifetime.
That'll change a fair bit lifetime, I would imagine.
82% men.
Yeah.
And the age group is again heavily up 45, 55 plus.
That's probably because of all the drinking and swearing we do on the show. So
I don't swear that much. But it's really interesting. Like this
it is interesting.
Maybe because we're two males, maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
True.
We do know though for a fact that the number one ticket holder does watch this show every week. Jenny C. Yes, that's right. Jenny C, who's now taken the number one mantle because, well, we'll get to that a bit later on. But yeah. Hey, what are we talking about? We're crapping on here, aren't we? I'm stirring up a bit of shit, aren't I?
You just made Mel, he's going to be tuned in right to the end.
Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah, nice. I'm thirsty. Cameron.
Yes.
One of our main topics for tonight is, have we reached the ceiling of cameras' abilities? Now, we've talked about this a little bit here and there. In 150 episodes, you're going to go back over old ground occasionally. But what were you probing for when you put that question up?
Well, it was the other night when Jamie and I were out taking photos. We're in a mate with a car. You sort of talking shop, and he was talking about he's got the R5 Mark I, and then
has he taken it out of the box yet?
He's used it a couple of times now. I've seen it.
Not as a doorstop.
Not as a doorstop. It may as well be. It's a Canon. So we were talking about it, and I'm like, and another guy we know down here bought the Mark II, and he's like, there's no point buying the Mark II over the Mark I, and we started talking about that. But we started looking at things. I said, okay, so what your Mark I, what's that, like 45 megapixels? I think the new one's 60 megapixels. Everything's sort of starting to cap. Like they're not pushing much above 60 megapixel for the full frame. The image stabilizing has a cap on it because of the Earth's rotation. The autofocus sometimes gets a bit sort of locked in at a certain amount of points. The only thing they're starting to add in more is maybe some of these AI computational modes. But I think we've got to a point where the cameras, they've sort of reached the point, unless they start bringing out 80 megapixel full frame cameras or even more, what else can they do? Like they're sort of, I don't know, they're sort of adding stuff that's not really worth the extra dollars you pay for the new versions that come out. So
got to agree. And it's felt that way for some time now.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it? Yeah.
That there's been no sort of, paradigm shift in a fantastic new feature, that all of a sudden, what? I mean, I think the closest we've come in the last probably 2 years or year was when Sony released the A1 with the global shutter.
Yeah. That really only accounts for what, like 2% of the camera population.
Oh, way less than that. I mean, it's a $15,000 camera, but that to me was probably the biggest change in things in the last 2 years, and hopefully like happens in the camera industry, these features trickle down to the lower models and the more affordable models. So hopefully that happens. That'll be interesting. I think one area that, and hopefully they listen to the show, all the manufacturers, don't they? Surely.
Well, we keep fielding emails from saying stop hanging shit on Canon. So yeah, I guess
that's right. Exactly. I think they need to. The phrase user friendly comes out a lot. Yes. I don't think, I can't think of one camera that is easy to use for a beginner.
Yeah.
And now whether or not that's just purely because as photographers, we're so used to the buttons and the dials and the PASM dial and, you know, exposure compensation and, ISOs and all this sort of stuff.
Mm.
I think these manufacturers would do themselves a massive favor if on that beautiful little LCD screen they had tutorials. Now, some of them do. They're kind of really basic and a bit janky, though, like they're written by robot, like AI.
Yeah.
But how cool would it be if you're out in the field and you can just on the screen of your camera put up a YouTube clip?
Yeah.
I know you can do it on your phone or whatever, but if you want to be disconnected, but you just want to, I just want to know about this.
Well, this is where your Apple camera is going to come in, I reckon.
I think so too. And I mean, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm sure this has been thought about by other people, but it's like I can see a real market for that where basically you've got the camera pointed at the Point Lonsdale Lighthouse.
Yeah.
It sees that, it recognizes that, it comes up on the screen and says, this is a tutorial on how to shoot this exact scene.
Brought to you by Ocean Grove Camera and Photo.
From Brendan, who lives in Ocean Grove. Give him a call.
Yeah. Imagine how much battery life to take that into.
Yeah, I get that, but battery life's improving all the time. I just think things like that, if they're serious about getting people back into real cameras, which I know they are, because there's real cameras getting released all the time now.
Yeah.
New models getting released all the time now.
Yeah.
If they want to get people back into photography and off their phones, I think that's going to be a massive step forward if they could do something like that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if any manufacturer can do that. And you're right. I think Apple would be one of them.
Oh, I just feel like we're not getting we keep our finger on the pulse. We see new cameras come out. We're like, oh, let's have a look at this, and nothing really looks like it changes majorly. So it sort of gets to the point where you're like, well, have we tapped out? Are we touching the ceiling of what we can do in these cameras? Unless there's new technology that comes out. Well, like you said, there's nothing that's been really mind blowing in cameras for a good couple of years. Now, I just had a quick look at the Canon like Mark 1 versus Mark 2. It's like a $1,300, $1,400 difference. Mm-hmm. Same megapixel. It's a back illuminated sensor versus a non. But a lot of it is very similar. Like it's got some maybe some updated viewfinder brightness and a few other things, but there's nothing on the spec sheet that goes to me like, oh, okay, yeah, that's definitely worth an extra $1,500. And that's across the board. I've looked at other cameras the last few days as well. There's nothing there that warrants the upgrade to the Mark II or the Mark III that improves the camera's functionality by that much.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would argue that these manufacturers, you know what annoys me? There's something that really annoys me. Back when I first got an iPhone, which was in like 2010 or whenever they came. Well, I got the iPhone 4 was my first one.
Right.
It was 2 years before the iPhone 5 came out.
Yeah.
Now what happens?
That's every year.
Every year. Every September, October, a new iPhone. Why? Because Samsung were doing it. They were putting out a new phone.
Yeah.
So market forces dictated that the new phone had to come out. Now, they have 12 months. Well, obviously, their R&D is way ahead of that, but their schedules are every 12 months to release a new product. There ain't enough time, mate. They how can they possibly improve these? And we do see it from time to time in the camera world as well that, the OM1 Mark 1 and Mark II was about 13, 14 months apart, something like that.
Yep.
And what was the difference? An extra couple of stops on the ND filter.
Yeah, there was an extra processor in there, a little bit extra ND filtering, and
pretty much nothing that couldn't have been done without a firmware update.
Oh, don't let them hear you say that. They'll be on you like flies on shit, mate. They rang me about that for saying those exact words. We had a good chat.
IOM systems.
Yeah.
Give me a call.
We had a good chat about it the other day on the way home, and Like, I was just racking my brain going through all the brands I can think of, and like, there's nothing that really blows the doors off anything that wasn't that good in the previous model that they brought out, like you said, 12 months ago. So I really feel like either they got to stop releasing shit every bloody 12 months, and actually wait that time to release something that's worthwhile of the price change, or people have just got to stop getting sucked in by the marketing that the new camera's out, I've got to buy it. Yeah, not even looking at the improvements.
Playing devil's advocate, though, I mean, you know, if a person, you know, see the new model comes out, and the thing that normally stops them going for the new model is the price. It's normally the money. If they had the money, they'd buy it. I mean, I think that's the number one thing, and that's coming from someone who's been in the industry for a long time. Yeah, it's always the price tag that stops you. So if you could afford it, you would probably buy it. So you know, as I say, playing devil's advocate there. And I think that's what the manufacturers rely on. All the marketing is geared around the latest, the greatest, the newest, the freshest, and that's where, you know, obviously Apple and Samsung have their phone wars, and they do that all the time. And it kind of sucks because
it does. Yeah.
You know, new models come out really quickly and all that sort of stuff. Really high end though, like Leica, for example, they don't release new cameras very often. So that's interesting, isn't it?
You know what? This is the M11, and I had the M10R, which is the model before that.
Yep.
And it's a shitload of money to buy a camera. We get that, but the improvements there, they upgraded the battery to a much better battery. They put an internal memory in there, so you can have 64 gig of memory without a memory card.
Yep.
But apart from that, they didn't change too much.
Yeah.
But the price was the same.
Yeah.
The new one that comes out is always the same sort of price.
But what's the gap time-wise between?
Time-wise, that was probably a good 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
From memory.
So it's interesting, isn't it, that the high-end, so your Hasselblads of the world, call me Hasselblad, the Hasselblads of the world, and, you know, the Leicas of the world. Yeah. I guess they don't need to, do they? It's the manufacturers that are aimed at the prosumer level.
Yeah.
You know, the weekend photographer that, you know, can probably every couple of years drop $2,000-3,000 on a body. It is interesting to how it's evolving.
Yeah. But is it the consumer causing this issue, or is it the manufacturers?
Oh, it's the consumer. It's the consumer.
Because the consumers keep buying them.
Yeah, that's right.
We keep
the consumer.
So we keep buying.
It's always the consumer. It's like when people complain about prices of campsites at Apollo Bay in the middle of summer. You know, someone said the other day that a powered, I think it was a non-powered site in Apollo Bay in the middle of on the Great Ocean Road. Yeah, I think it was $190 a night.
That's ridiculous.
Now,
but I'll buy
it. It's totally ridiculous. But why is it that much?
Yeah, because people keep buying it.
Correct. So, and supply and demand. So, and it's the same with cameras. We all have gear acquisition syndrome. We all want that latest.
Are we saying the photographic show on YouTube don't buy cameras? Is that what
we're saying? We're saying have a think about what you've got.
Yeah.
Like that's what I always say. I mean, people say, "Oh, I got a new camera." I'm like, "Why did you lose your other one?"
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it was my dad or someone told me, not necessarily about camera brands, but just in general, always buy the second updated version. Don't always try and leapfrog a version. So go to Mark 1 to Mark 3, Mark 3 to Mark 5, and you'll see that there's bigger improvements in those.
Of course. Yeah.
Because we don't get it now. And I it just shits you to tears that, like, we were talking the other night, this guy we know down here. Now he works as a photographer sort of part-time, but he's gone and bought a $6,000 camera. And Jamie rightly said, what benefits are you going to get for what you do? He goes, oh, but it's the newest one. It's got a new sensor in it. It's like, come on, mate. You're only buying it because you got gas and you just want to keep up with the Joneses and have the latest and greatest. Yeah. I think you should save your money and invest in really good lenses, or, you know, invest in something that's going to, you know, have longevity in it, because you're going to get this new camera and in 12 months' time, you're going to go, oh, I got to sell this because there's a new one coming out. It's ridiculous.
100%. And the number of, and it's really increasing now. And again, I keep referencing my shop because I'm in the coalface. I see it every day. The number of people I'm having come in with old digital SLRs that don't work now because they've been sat in a drawer and the battery swelled up and they didn't take the battery.
Yeah.
And we somehow get the battery out and put a new battery in, and it breathes new life into it.
Yeah.
That's been fantastic to see. A lot of people wanting to give cameras to kids and grandkids and that sort of stuff. That's been great because, you know, I'll say it again, the golden age for digital SLRs was the 2010s, where we had those kits that came out that people just, you know, and because it was before the phones were taken over our life. So, you know, so that's where, as I say, it was a golden age. And those cameras are now having a renaissance, just like film cameras had a renaissance. And, you know, it's cool to see.
Speaking of film, I put in an extra bit in the little run sheet. I'm going to talk about that now.
Yes, please.
I sent you a photo the other day.
Yes.
Now, the other day I was saying that OM Systems, if it wasn't for this big giant white lens here, strategically placed in the frame, if it wasn't for that white lens, I probably would be out of that system. But then they've just come up. There's a little bit of a whisper coming out that they're going to
reeling you back in.
They're reeling me back in. It looks like they're going to maybe release an OM1 retro style, so it's going to look very, very much like the old OM1 out of the 70s. If they do that and it looks almost the same, I'm back in. I'll buy one of them and I'll be happy as a pig in poo. But
yeah, well, that's right, because you still do have. It's not just that lens that you've got. You've got a few.
That's right. I got a few other ones. Yeah.
It does look pretty cool, and it looks pretty authentic to the OM1. Like it looks very, very similar to the OM1. So it could be an absolute gem. So time will tell whether that comes out, and hopefully they make it affordable.
Well, it's meant to be Chinese New Year announcement somewhere. Okay. So end of January sometime.
Look at us contradicting ourselves. Yeah, don't buy a new camera. Look at this new camera.
Well, but this is the difference here. There's a difference here, though, mate. Don't buy a new camera that looks identical to the one you've got, and it's just got a number 2 on the front, not a number 1. At least buy something that's retro-y or unique or something different to what you've got.
A throwback.
This is my excuse to Lisa. This is how I'm going to justify buying this.
Good luck.
So, but you know what I mean? Like, look for something different. But I was really excited to see that. I'm like, right, okay, I was almost out the door. Maybe I'm back in again. I don't know. So we'll see.
It'll be it's actually quite interesting. I mean, I always like with CES is happening at the moment. Not one camera was announced, as far as I know.
Yeah, right.
Normally every year there's something. In fact, the last couple of years, none of the camera manufacturers have bothered going to CES. So that probably tells you all you need to know. Look, it'll be interesting, and hopefully it's got the build quality of the original OM1 as well. That'd be cool. And wouldn't it be awesome if it didn't have a screen?
Well, you know what? It's in their DNA to do things a bit outside the square.
Yep.
I always wanted. I don't have it down here with me, but I've got the OM3 Ti, which is a pure full manual titanium body, a classic camera. I always wanted them to build one of them as a digital. I would have almost sold my soul for them to develop one of those, because I reckon that would be almost a pinnacle of what that company can do. I reckon is to bring out that and make it look like that and feel like that. No screen on the back, that would be cool.
Yeah.
So who knows? Well, no doubt they'll make an announcement if it is true. It's all rumors at the moment, but there seems to the Malaysia OM dropped a little brochure thing, which has the old OM1 under a little desk light, but it's got a reflective surface showing the new one that's coming out. I thought that was what got my interest going. So who knows? Watch this space. We'll obviously let you know. But
if my friends at Pentax are listing a K1000D, that would be pretty cool. Hey. The ideas just come, mate.
Well, we were talking about the other day, the Nikon ZF is a spitting image of the FM2.
Yeah, great camera.
Nikon did it. Canon, there's rumors that Canon are bringing out some retro style, not an AE1 style, but maybe like their rangefinder style they used to have.
Well, they should do an AE1 digital.
Yeah, so maybe, and this comes back to our topic. They've hit the ceiling. Like, what do we do now?
Yeah, well, this is it, and they've got to stay relevant. So, and it's almost like, well, shame on them for continuing to put out new models so quickly and superseding old models that now there are so many cameras sitting in drawers not being used.
Yeah.
And
they've run out of ideas real quick.
Blow the dust off them, get these old cameras out. You know what I would love to do? And I've been threatening to do this for ages, and I might damn well do it this year.
I'm at a nudie run down Ocean Road.
Nah, done that already. I would like to I've got a Nikon D70S.
Yes.
And I've got a Nikon D750.
Right.
Now, those cameras are approximately 15 years apart, maybe 12 years apart. I would love to take them both out, same night or same conditions, shoot them both and compare, and it would be fascinating. to do that. As I said, I've been wanting to make a YouTube video of it for ages, as I said, the cameras are here. I'm going to do it. So yeah, that'll be an interesting experiment to see what that would bring. I mean, I've got old cameras all over the place. I'd love to dust them off and just see. I found a do you remember the Olympus EP1?
Yes, I had one of those. Yeah.
The first pen camera.
It was the first one. Yeah, I've got one upstairs that's in bits because it broke, and I thought,
was that the first ever micro four thirds camera? I think it might have been.
Might have been. I don't know.
Sure. Anyway, it was way better than the Nikon One. Do you remember that stinking pile of? Gee, did I have some arguments with the reps over that one?
Yeah. I'm actually thinking, I'm just thinking outside, we've got our little workshops on the weekend.
Yes.
How quickly could Julie from Nikon get us a ZF with a 50mm to play with for the weekend?
She's got 3 days.
I'm going to message her. I'm going to see if
you're in Melbourne. You could grab it.
I can grab it on the way through. Leave
it with me. Could you go up to Cairns? Leave it with me. I'll have a play with it as well.
I'll take the whole.
You take it to Cairns, true.
Yeah.
If you've got room.
All right, Julie, if you're listening, I've already contacted you.
They all listen.
I know. Yeah,
they say that they don't, but
Julie's one of those 3% of the women that listen.
Speaking of, excuse me, my very good friend on the other screen here, or in your other ear if you're listening to the show, has today updated the dsps.com.au website. Well done, Cameron. You've gone to town.
Well, you said, hey, can you? I've done a link, and can you update this, do this, and do that? I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I've gone in, and you must have gone and had a look, but we've put up a heap of stuff on there.
You've cleaned house, is what you've done.
I've always built a brand new website today. No, it was getting a bit old, and we hadn't really touched it much, so we've spruced it up a bit. We've now got our most rated video, which is a Thomas Heaton video on the front screen that people can go watch it straight away. We've put up some new photos from the last few months that we've been doing. We just scroll through there. Did you like the little zoom feature I did on the photos? It's pretty cool.
You've gone to the next level. That's great.
And then, we put all the interviews up there because you did a good job putting the interviews up on YouTube.
Yeah, so all of our interviews are now on a playlist on YouTube. So if you head over to our YouTube channel, which you're now watching kind of, if you click below and
you're just already ready to go.
Click on us down there and click that subscribe button and all that sort of stuff. You'll be able to find a tab that says playlists, and under that it says interviews. So you can go and see an interview with whoever you want that we've interviewed on the show.
Yeah, I did. Sorry.
And more coming soon as well, by the way.
Yeah, we've got one lined up. Yeah.
More in the pipeline, which is great.
Yeah.
So to that end, if you head over to dsps.com.au, you can do 2 things. One, you can check out our workshops that we've got coming up in 2025. We'll probably start looking at 2026 ones soon as well at some point. But for now, 2025 workshops, we have our Murray Mallee workshop towards the end of March. We have our Great Ocean Road workshop towards the middle of May. And then we have our Tarkine to Cradle Mountain in Tasmania in August, all of which only have a few places left. So jump on, check them out.
Yeah, so get onto them. We'll start putting up next year's one. I thought about today when I looked at it, I'm like, we probably should. That's ridiculous. So I put out, I just put out a expression of interest for Japan.
Yes.
Myself and Luke O'Brien, who's another photographer down here in Tassie, he spent a lot of time in Japan. His wife's Japanese. He knows it really well. But we're going to do a little combined tour, him and I. And we put that out, and we've got like 30 people interested already, which is great. But I had people asking me like, I probably can't do 26 or 27. Are you going to go in 28? I'm like, 28? Like, bloody hell. Like, how are people that far ahead of themselves?
We'll be into the next decade before we know it. It's absolutely crazy.
I'll be turning 50 soon.
Oh, you poor bugger. Are you going to be okay?
I've got a few years left.
The other thing you can do when you go to dsps.com.au is buy us a beer. If you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to. We've got loads of beer donations this week, so thank you.
We have had loads of beer donations, and first cab off the rank is a good mate of mine who he's based in Dubai or Doha. He's in over there somewhere. Heath Holden, who is a Tasmanian guy. He shoots a lot for OzGeo, Nat Geo. He shoots a lot for Getty Images. He's got the lifestyle over there. Lovely guy, great photographer. Go check him out. He's bought us a beer. I called this guy Tom, but his name's actually Tim. Tim from Utah. He's bought us a beer. Sharon from up in Gympie has bought us a beer.
Sharon Thorogood and the Destroyers. Thanks,
Shazza. She's a funny girl, Sharon. She came down here, did the little masterclass thing I had here, right? And she's like, walks in, she goes, "Where's my calendar?" I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've already sent it to you. She goes, "Nah, didn't get it." I'm like, "Oh, shit, sorry about that." So I'm like, "Oh, here you go." And it's the big Oz Geo one I had.
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh, that's not going to fit my luggage." I said, "All right, I'll post it up to you." So it arrived today with the first one. I had sent the first one. So
Yep.
Sharon's going to see us in a couple of days. She's on she's on both workshops, I think.
There you go.
So she said she's going to bring a few hard solos to make up for the difference. But yeah, she's great. Number one ticket holder, Jenny C, has leapfrogged Mel H because Mel hasn't bought a beer this week. So
look, in Mel's defense.
Oh, here we go. Do you know
we are recording this a day earlier than we normally do, so that could have something to do with it. So look, forgive us, Mel, if you have, you're back to number one. But if you haven't, the crown has slipped.
You threw Jenny under the bus pretty freaking quick. Unbelievable. That's why we
could be listening to this right now because she's with us now.
That's why we don't get any women listeners or viewers, mate, because we want more women watching the show. Come on, ladies.
We do. Right.
And then we got one more. And Jill, Denise, I think that's how you say her name. Jill's lovely. She bought us a beer as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Jill. We greatly appreciate it.
Oh, there was a caveat, sorry, to Heath. Heath said on one condition that we don't buy Cascade, that we have to buy Bogues. So, Heath, I've done right thing.
All right. I will find some Bogues at my local insert bottle shop name here that's not a sponsor of the show. If you would like to buy us a beer, head to dsbs.com.au, check out the new website that this guy's put all his heart and soul into today. So we appreciate that. Thank you, Cameron. So what have we got coming up, Cam? So you're Mr. Jet Setter again. You're leaving home again. Off you go. You had your little stopovers, and then the kids recognise you. Now it's time to leave again.
Yeah, pretty much. No, so I leave Thursday, which would be the day before this.
Yep.
I'm up to see you for a couple of days, and then Sunday morning I'm flying out to Cairns to go scout some of the locations up there for our macro workshop that I'm doing with Cheryl Davis Photography. Brilliant. So Cheryl's going to meet me up there. She's coming all the way across to Perth to go bring a little macro lens. I think she's a pretty excited young lady. I think she's pretty excited. I don't think she's been much up to the Daintree before to see the bugs.
You won't see her for hours.
I actually said that to her. I said, "There's going to be storms up there. I'm going to walk out the door and go that way. You're going to go out the door and go that way, and I'll see you the next morning."
That's right.
So, but it should be good.
That is very exciting.
It's funny. I looked up the weather forecast today for Cairns, and Monday it's meant to rain. Obviously, it's the tropics and it's that kind of set time. Mm-hmm. But the weather forecast was tons of rain, clearing, and that was on the official website.
Tons,
TONS, tons of rain.
Okay.
So God help us. But so I'm going there, and then I get back.
You might get some cracking waterfall shots.
Well, we might be out the front of the room, maybe. I don't know. So we're going there, and then back on the weekend after that, just before that, I think. And then I'm actually doing a photo. I'm doing a photo shoot where I'm the model. Maybe a bit more about that next week. We have to tell you about. Yeah, it's with a pretty well-known clothing brand. I've been asked to be involved and tell my story, which I don't really like doing, but that's why I got a bit of a haircut. Hopefully,
you're an ambassador.
Well, not necessarily, but they need people to wear some product who are in the outdoorsy photography business kind of game. So,
well, that's you. Perfect.
Apparently I fit the mold. So
I like it. That's very good.
You're with me, but then.
So yeah. This week we've got the workshops coming up. Then next week, a very, very busy week because I am taking the majority of it off. So I'm going to be cramming in all my jobs, getting everything done because it is that week of January that I shoot off and have my time off. So looking forward to that. Heading down to amazing Bruny Island in Tasmania. So looking forward to that.
You moved down here, mate.
It's one. Well, I haven't been to Bruny before, so I'm looking forward to that. Got everything booked. Airbnb. Found a little beach shack, that sort of thing. Booked the ferry at Kettering, and yeah, might talk to you off air about a little boat trip as well. So,
all right. Well, you are taking the week off, and we had Peter Eastway contact me and said he wanted to come on that week, and you went. Yep. Bad luck.
Sorry, Pete. My holiday with my family comes first, so
missed that little boat. But
too bad, Pete. Never mind. That's his loss. That's his loss.
It is, yeah. And the good thing is Ansel Adams is coming on later this year, so
yeah, great.
We've locked him in.
Yep, excellent. All right, cool. So that's going to be awesome. Now, as I say, we are probably going to have a week off the show next week, but we'll be back the week after. So
you're having the week off.
Well, you can do the show. I don't mind at all. Jump on, do an episode.
Maybe I could do an episode with Cheryl up in the Daintree.
Do it.
A macro that might bring some women in.
It will. Definitely will.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, we'll work on that. Probably not. I don't know how to.
Hello to all the women that are watching. Please comment below. Say hi to us. We love having you around on the show.
Maybe they just subscribe under their husband's accounts and just show
a pseudonym.
Maybe.
Let's blame the algorithm one more time. This has been episode 151 of the Down South Photo Show. We will see you for episode 152 in the near future. Don't forget to jump on the Facebook page and put a mountains photo on there.
Stop taking
no one does.
Yeah, I went through the shops today after my haircut, and the lady came up to me. She goes, "Couldn't agree more." That was all she said. Just walked off.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to figure out what she was talking about.
That's right. Yeah, that's right, Matisha. Okay. We will see you for episode 152 in the near future. Bye for now.
Later. Bye.